Hey guys, what's shaking? This is your bonus content
for Weekly Geek Speak.
We went through everything, and we realized we didn't talk on the big event coming up, which is the Walking Dead season finale.
Yep.
For those of you who've been living under a rock, the tease from the beginning of season, this is season 6, right?
Yeah, this is season 6.
Beginning of season 5.
End of season 5, beginning of season 6 is
Negan.
Who's Negan?
Who's Negan? Foreshadowing it. Everybody was like, oh, Glenn's gonna get it. And they've been foreshadowing
a lot of
the
things.
shit out of Glenn getting killed. You know, you're walking through Alexandria when you first get there. They walk past the weapons. What do you see? You see a baseball bat. You know, all these references, you know, when they meet the saviors on the road, they had to make an example of them right off the bat.
It's very interesting because when you look at it, the way that they're doing everything, we know Negan's been cast.
Yeah.
We've known who Negan is for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because, hey, he was the comedian in Watchmen.
Yep.
But we haven't seen him.
Yeah, I haven't seen him.
And everyone wants to know who Negan is. We've gotten the reveal that they're all Negan. Mm-hmm. So they've all the saviors have taken up the banner of being Negan.
Yeah, it's like Spartacus. Like, I am Spartacus. I am Negan.
Yeah. Well, we know he's coming.
Yep.
But we haven't seen him yet.
Okay, so now, 2 episodes left. We have tomorrow's episode and the big 90-minute finale in a week.
Now, just to be clear, it's tomorrow for us. But when you guys are watching this, it's probably going to be a little after the fact.
Yeah, we work on Fox time, so we're not in the same continuity as everything else.
Exactly.
So everybody's saying, okay, it's going to be Glenn. But now, you know, they did a big tease a couple of weeks ago where you see Glenn supposedly get his guts ripped out, falling off the edge of the dumpster. And everybody's like, no, you can't kill Glenn like that. It has to be Negan. And then, you know, he crawls out from underneath the dumpster and everyone, Negan could still get him.
Even though it took him 3 episodes to show it. Back.
So now, one theory floating around is in the last end of the last episode, Carol walks away from everybody. And that could be set up where she meets the saviors, okay? And she gets captured or tricked or whatever and brings them to Alexandria. And she's the one who meets Lucille. That could be one way. A lot of people thinking, since Daryl wants out, Norman Reedus says, you know, I'm kind of bored with this character a little bit. I want to move on and do other things. It could be him who meets Lucille. Another person who might get it either tomorrow night or by the end of the season is Abraham. Which personally I've grown to like the character of Abraham. I like his bluntness. And after Eugene bit the guy in the dick, he just looks at him and says with a straight face, "You can bite some dick." It was, in my opinion, one of the more funnier lines, because you're trying to get over the fact that did you just see Eugene bite a guy in the dick? And you did. And then it's just like, Abraham's like, dude, thank you for taking one for the team. You know, bite the guy in the dick. But, you know, the die has been cast in the comic book with Abraham's character getting killed. And ironically enough, he died the same way, what's her name, Danielle died? The doctor?
Oh, with the arrow?
With the arrow through the eye.
Well, they have changed things up.
They have changed things up.
And I'm not a fan of the comic. I don't read the comic because there's so much going on and I don't want to get spoiled by the show because I don't want to be one of those fans that sits there and it's not like the show. The book's not the same as the show. It's too different.
See,
I already do that with Game of Thrones.
See, I never got in on a comic book because I missed the first few issues. And when I say few, I mean like the first 20. And if I don't get in on something right away, I'm not going to jump in the middle of a story arc. So I never really got into it until I started watching the show. and then I've read, like the graphic novels and stuff like that. So I have a sense of where the comic book continuity lies and where the TV continuity lies. But if Carol does meet her fate at the business end of Lucille, people are going to be upset. But
See,
you're rooting for a character to appear, and he's going to kill a major character. So you're going to be happy, you're going to be sad, you're not going to please everybody.
See, I'm in the ball camp of, it's like, there's so many different options that can go on, because we know from what has been talked about online and everything, Andrea and Carol's roles have kind of been switched, because
Yes.
Andrea was supposed to keep going, Carol was supposed to die, so they've kind of swapped that around.
Yep.
And Daryl, he doesn't exist in the comic, so his character is a complete anomaly for the show. And then Abraham is going to die in the comic. We know he dies in the comic, so there's
only a matter of time.
Exactly.
But I feel if you're going to kill a character like Abraham, or if you're going to kill a character like Daryl, only because of their strong presence, I don't think...
The fans are going to go nuts.
No, I mean, the fans are going to go nuts no matter which one dies first. But I feel when it finally comes time to say goodbye to one of those two characters, you can't have them go out, with an arrow through the back of the head, or, on their knees getting cracked in the back of the head with a baseball bat, or by a walker bite. I think if they're going to make them go out, they have to make them go out in a badass way, where one of them gets bit, argument's sake. Let's see, doesn't matter which one. One of the two of them gets bit, and this is this person's season,
See, I gotta disagree, though.
Let me finish. One of them gets bit, and they get bit in a place where they can't cut it off. Okay? So let him go out in a badass way. Like, okay, give me like 4 sticks of dynamite, and you have to go out that way through that herd of walkers. Okay, light them up, run out, all the walkers come in, boom! That's a badass way.
But remember, it's not about the walkers. It's about the people. That's what the whole thing is about.
Right, it's about the people. That person can go out while saving the people.
Going out with a giant bunch of sticks of dynamite attached to themselves is just... It's too unrealistic for the show.
I'm using it as an example, but you have to make them go out in a badass way.
The thing is, look what they did with Carl. Carl, everyone knew who read the comics, Carl was going to lose an eye. It's the same way people are speculating over Rick, where he keeps cutting his hand, he keeps getting his hand cut, because Rick is supposed to lose his hand in the comics. Me talking about the hand. Now, what happens is, they knew that's why they had him grow his hair out. They didn't cut his hair because they didn't want it to distract with the bandage. So they were able to cover it up. They knew that was coming. Lucille and Negan bashing in his brains in, we know that's coming. We know that Glenn, they played with it and they made people feel a little more comfortable with him dying because of the fact that now, okay, we gave you this big tease about him not dying yet. So we thought he was dead, but he's not dead. He's going to die. No one's safe on that show.
No, absolutely not. No one is safe on the show unless they teased Glenn dying like that to test the water. How is everybody going to feel with this character dying? And then, okay, we got this big backlash. We showed Glenn dying in that episode. We didn't put his name in the credits in the next episode.
But they didn't show him either.
They didn't show him or mention him at all. And
it took 3 episodes.
And okay, we could be leading Kirkman and Nicotero.
Yep, Greg Nicotero.
When they were on Talking Dead, they were like, we do things to screw with the reader. If you're a fan of the comic book and you're a fan of the show, you think you have things figured out, that's when we decided to make a left turn. But
there are certain things they don't deviate from.
No,
they didn't deviate from the eye being shot out, and it was the same way in the comics.
But I think it's a good way to be on a show that's predictable. If you read the comic, I think this is a good way to be unpredictable.
Yeah, but there are certain things that are to be expected.
Expected.
It's gonna piss the fans off.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get friends who say that's great, I'm gonna miss this character, and you're gonna get people who say that sucked. Why'd you do that to this character? You're not gonna please everybody, but in the end, I think if you're a fan of the show, you're gonna say I'm gonna miss a character, but I understand.
Well, it's all going to play out soon enough, so
Yep.
we're going to find out just exactly where everyone's loyalties lie.
Yep.
Because we're going to find out who really is going to riot.
Yep.
So that's the thing. There are plenty of fans out there that say if Glenn dies, we riot. If Daryl dies, we riot. You don't have that for Abraham as much. Carol's gotten such a great fan base that people love her because she's become such a badass. She went from being the abused housewife and mom to
Look at the flowers, bitch.
yeah. It's look at the flowers, Lizzie. No, just look at them. Look at them.
And then if you tell anybody about this, I'm gonna feed you to the monsters. Eat a cookie.
Have a cookie.
Have a cookie. Shut the fuck up.
And that's the thing. She's her own boogeyman.
She is. She is the quintessential boogeyman in that show.
And
Are you more scared of the zombies or are you more scared of Carol?
I'm afraid of Carol. And that's the thing. We know whatever's coming is coming because there's only a couple episodes left, and they're already hinting about Negan being locked up because they had Morgan building the cell.
Yep.
Even though it's a weird looking cell because
it's a cell nonetheless.
Yeah, but Morgan's the one I feel needs to be locked up more than anyone else since he won't kill anyone at this point.
I mean, Morgan has sort of taken on the role of
the moral compass.
Yeah, he's picked up from Herschel, and Herschel picked it up from Dale. So I kind of think you need.
By moral compass.
I don't think, I think you kind of need that moral compass. You need the person who says, okay, if you're doing this, what makes you any different than this guy from doing it?
Yeah, and on that show, that moral compass dies very quickly.
Well, no, but Daryl stayed in.
Daryl's never really been the moral compass. Daryl's always been, I'll do what I have to do, which let's talk about, because we know it's ending, but when it ends, Fear the Walking Dead starts. What's your feeling on Fear the Walking Dead?
I watched the episodes, I think maybe because The Walking Dead was 5 seasons in when Fear the Walking Dead started. I think I was spoiled by, like, why are you doing this, dumbass? Don't
the
go
slow
there.
pace.
It was the slow pace. It got going, and you're like, why? Run away from them. You know it's a zombie. Oh, wait, you don't know it is. I got caught yelling at the TV. I'm like, run, you jackass.
See,
I think it started off slow. Still didn't tell you where the hell it came from, where the zombie virus came from. Still doesn't do that. But I think the second season will be a little more interesting because, okay, now they know the threat is out there. Now they know what's going on. I think it'll be a little more interesting and fall in line a little bit more with the main series.
now, for me, I think it's going to... It was a very slow pace for, like, getting into the show, but I knew it was before the breakout.
I knew it was before too, but I would just, like, get to the point.
Yeah. The only time I ever really got overly emotional with The Walking Dead was when we've lost certain characters. Losing Herschel was that one was like it. That one hurt. That was like a punch in the gut.
I didn't get emotional. I was just like, whoa, they left. Whoa, like right there. I was like, holy crap, they did it.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it, but they did it.
See, for me, it was more Beth. With the loss of Beth, I was
shocked with Beth. I have to be honest with you. I wasn't. I heard rumors that they were going to get rid of her, but I was kind of like hoping against hope.
Yeah,
I was like, okay,
I didn't want to see her go, but dealt with it, moved on.
Yep.
But with Fear the Walking Dead, I'm not attached to these characters the same way.
You don't have the attachment. You
And
just like get to the point.
I'm just like, they're going on a boat. It's like
They're on a motherfucking boat, yo.
This is the season of the boat,
Yeah.
and I've read the Zombie Survival Guide. I've read World War Z. We know a boat is typically not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
because
Unless you own like an aircraft carrier.
now a boat can work in theory, but you have to be like somebody who knows how to survive on a boat. Like this isn't like nautical days of like where they could survive on a boat for years just to travel back and forth to get from one continent to another.
Yep.
So this is going to be a weird series.
It's gonna be short trips on a boat.
Yeah, because you got to remember they're going to need to be able to restock. They've got to be able to get stuff. It's definitely going to be an interesting season, but I'm not as hooked in, and because I guess also because it's just a short season with a huge gap in between.
Yeah.
Where at least with The Walking Dead, it's like one season, but there's a short gap in between the first part and the second part.
And there's so much.
It's just harder to get into.
It's harder to get into, and I think with The Walking Dead, there's so many more episodes, you know, and okay, yeah, it ends in March, but it'll pick up again in like December or January, so you know, I'll give it another shot. Hopefully, it'll pick up more and gain more speed in this one.
We'll never
really be happy with it because unless. Because it's not the original.
We're also never going to know where the outbreak came from.
Yeah, we're never.
If they didn't tell you on The Walking Dead, they're not going to tell you on Fear the Walking Dead. It's too easy.
It is. But anyway, I'm Mike.
I'm Daniel from Fire in the Hell 03 channel.
I got Hamster Pellet Productions.
You can check all that stuff out down in the links in the description down below.
Till next week, geeks. Later.
Take care, everyone. See you next time.